Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video on the channel. Today we have the Carabao Cup quarter-final predictions. Now, just want to say this was going to be filmed after the Tottenham versus Leicester game, but we're 2-0 down. We're playing like a fucking crook of dicks, and we're being open like a tin of beans. So I'm doing a video. It's currently 3:45, and the notes that I have are based off of before the Tottenham Leicester game kicked off. So when it comes to Stoke versus Tottenham and even Everton versus Manchester United, it might not be as accurate because this goes out at 5:30, so yeah, it won't be as accurate. So this is going to be based off before the Tottenham versus Leicester game kicked off, and of course Manchester United versus Leeds. Before we get into it, make sure that you do subscribe down below. We've had a couple of subscribers from the Premier League video, but we have more Premier League videos coming out over the course of the next week. With the Christmas period, we have the Boxing Day fixtures, and then we'll have the Monday fixtures that come after that, or the next game week. It's all muddled together, and there's lots of games. There's 2 game weeks coming up within the next week, or week today. So yeah, and then we have the New Year's period coming up. So make sure you're subscribed for that. And then we'll have F1 content is coming in the new year. So within the next 11 days. There will be some F1 content. We've just got to film it. We've got some plans in the works, and there'll be like a channel update. Like we'll have a new logo, a new banner, which is being made by Jaden. So yeah, well, lad. So as you can see around me, if it works the way I want it to, I'm in the middle, and then we've got the games around me. So this one, Brentford versus Newcastle is the first game, and that is the last game, Everton versus Manchester United. So going on to Brentford versus Newcastle. Currently, Brentford are 4th in the Championship. They're playing pretty decent over in the Championship, and arguably I'd say they're the favourites to win this, being at home. But of course, because Newcastle are the Premier League side, sitting in 12th in the Premier League currently, they're going to be the favourites in terms of the bookies' favourites. But personally, I think Brentford are the favourites. I think that they can cause an upset here against Newcastle. Their road to the quarter-finals, Brentford obviously played a round extra, or 2 rounds extra over Newcastle. I think they played 1 round extra because Newcastle came into the second round. So Rangers, Brentford have beaten Wycombe. They beat Wycombe 2-1 at home, and then they played Southampton away and beat them 2-0, a good result for them. Then they played West Brom away, another Premier League team, and beat them on penalties. And then of course in the last round, what seems like an eternity ago, they beat Fulham 3-0 in the West London derby at home. Compared to Newcastle, they've got through. They beat, I've got on my notes here, they beat Newcastle 1-0, but they beat Newport 1-0, I believe. No, they didn't. Don't know who they beat in the first round or the second round, their first game. But then they beat Morecambe 7-0. So yeah, they're not afraid to batter the smaller teams. And then away in Wales against Newport, they went through on penalties. So definitely a tough game for Newcastle, travelling to West London to play Brentford. But again, I still think Brentford are going to win. I'm going with a 2-1 Brentford win. Hopefully, if this works, it's just come up above me. And I think the West London side have the capability to go through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, where they will definitely be playing a big team, unless Stoke can beat Spurs, which, again, a bigger side in the competition from the Championship. I absolutely love it when there's Championship teams or League One teams in the semi-finals of Cup competitions. It's just fantastic. The Brentford form at home, they've only lost 1 game at home in the Championship, and that was a 4-2 loss against Preston. But other than that, they're unbeaten in their last 13 games in all competitions, so they've definitely got some form behind them. Again, more reason of why I think they will beat Newcastle. Compared to Newcastle's form, they've got 7 points in their last 5 games in the Premier League, and they've only won 3 games in 90 minutes away in the Premier League. They've only won 3 games in all competitions, I should say, but standout result is a 1-1 draw against Spurs when they got that penalty through Callum Wilson. But yeah, as I said, I think Brentford will walk away with a win, and I think they're going to go through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Moving on to Arsenal versus Manchester City. On paper, a game that should be very, very tight, but Arsenal sitting in 15th in the Premier League compared to Manchester City at the moment are sitting 7th because Leicester have won pretty much against Spurs, but on this they're 6th. So a bit of a contrast in terms of Premier League positioning. It should be a bit closer, but everyone's going to be going for a Manchester City win. That's not to say I think they'll win or draw or lose, but the stats show that Manchester City aren't very good away from home. Manchester City have only scored more than 1 goal on one occasion in their last 10 games in all competitions, and that was a 3-0 win against Marseille in the Champions League. They failed to score against Spurs, Porto and Manchester United, so bigger teams that they failed to score against, and with no recognised striker in their game yesterday against Southampton, they struggled. Obviously they got the result, but they did struggle. Arsenal, they played Everton, and Arsenal, they create chances, but they just can't finish their dinner. It's been a problem when they played Spurs as well. Last time they met, it was a 1-0 win for Manchester City in game week 5 in the Premier League, and Raheem Sterling got that goal. Yeah, I think Manchester City are going to walk away with a win here. I think they're going to win this game 3-0. I know I spoke about the away form and everything, but yeah, I just think Manchester City are going to win. And their road to the quarterfinals, Arsenal have played 2 tough games, 2 tough away games, and got through, beating Leicester 2-0 and winning on penalties at Anfield against Liverpool, compared to Manchester City, who beat Bournemouth 2-1 and beat Burnley 3-0. Now moving on to Stoke versus Tottenham. Stoke are currently 7th in the Championship, and Spurs, as I'm filming this, will be in 3rd because Leicester have beaten Spurs, so I think Spurs will be 4th actually because Everton are above them. So yeah, we're 4th in the Premier League at the minute, but as this was being noted, we're 3rd. Road to the quarterfinals, Stoke have beaten Blackpool on penalties at home. They beat Wolves 1-0 away, a fantastic result. Beat Gillingham 1-0 at home, and they beat Aston Villa 1-0 away. So some tough away games for Stoke. Compared to Spurs, where in the 3rd round they got a bypass because Leyton Orient had players with COVID, and then beat Chelsea on penalties at home. So a different contrast in terms of results. The last time these two met was in 2018 when Kane claimed that goal off of Eriksen in a 2-1 win for Spurs, with Eriksen also scoring. And yeah, the last result for Stoke was a 1-0 win against Blackburn, a tough game for them, with Nick Powell getting the goal in the 7th minute, and then they held out. And Spurs, of course, currently 2-0 down against Leicester, still 2-0. Stoke's form, they have 17 points from 23 games at the Britannia Stadium, or Bet365 Stadium I think it's called now, compared to Spurs, who have the 2nd best defensive record in the Premier League, conceding only 6 goals, 1 more than Chelsea have conceded. So before the Liverpool game a couple of days ago, we had the best defensive record, but the Leicester game does change the complexity, but it'll be a different team that we put out against Stoke, and I think Mourinho's going to absolutely battle when he gets back in that change room, and this is a competition that Mourinho likes to win. And I think Spurs are going to do it on a cold, rainy night in Stoke. I think that Spurs are going to win this game 3-1 with Carlos Vinicius getting on the score sheet. Moving on to Everton versus Manchester United, the last game in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. It is currently 2nd in the Premier League versus 7th or 3rd if you're watching this after the Tottenham Leicester game, or if you're watching this after the main night game, don't know what the result will be for that, but yeah, 3rd versus 7th. Road to the quarterfinals, Everton beat Salford 3-0 at home. They beat Fleetwood 5-2 away from home, no mercy for the League One side, and then beat West Ham 4-1 at Goodison Park. Compared to Manchester United, who have 2 3-0 wins away from home against Luton and Brighton. The last time these two sides met, it was in game week 8 when Manchester United beat Everton 3-1 away from home, with Edison Cavani sealing the result in the 95th minute after 2 Bruno Fernandes goals in the first half. An interesting stat here, Manchester United away in the Premier League have won every single game after going 1-0 down. So we're going to add a bit of spice into this game.
Let me add a little bit of spice to that.
I'm going with a 1-1 draw in 90 minutes and Manchester United to win 4-3 on penalties. There has to be one penalty shootout result. Manchester United, they go 1-0 down, they get a goal back through Bruno Fernandes, and then on penalties Marcus Rashford will put them through into the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. This is actually a really interesting game because Ancelotti, he's going to want to bring a trophy to Goodison Park, and this is the best chance to do it. But Manchester United's away form, I think it'd just pip them on penalties, of course, but I think it'd just pip them. Everton will want a bit of revenge for the result in the Premier League earlier on at Goodison Park, but yeah, I think Manchester United will go through to the semi-finals of a cup that they like winning in recent years. So yeah, that is going to be it for the video. Maybe a bit shorter, but I've tried giving more information on the games than I would for the Premier League games. As I said, subscribe to the channel and comment your predictions down below for the results for all 4 of these games who you think will be going through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. That is going to be it from me though. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.